Chapter 25. Now also Lamech came to the Lord and asked permission to rid himself from a confusing knot. And the Lord said to him, I know what it is, and Enoch knows it too. But Kisahel cannot see yet what is in the most secret depths of his life. Therefore, you may speak loudly for Kisahel's sake. Hence tell me your tangled knot. With a heart flaming with love, Lamech gave thanks for this sublime grace, and then brought the following question to light, which sounded, Most loving, holy, ineffably good Father, you have created Satana out of yourself, and not from anywhere else. How is it then possible that this creature created from you is so terribly evil, while in you everything since eternity had to be all good, for you yourself is endlessly good, and therefore it is impossible indeed that something evil can emerge from you? However, since this by you created Satana is in all seriousness so evil, I do not know, regarding this matter, how to help myself or what to make of it. I think by myself and feel it also quite clearly. If I could get clarity about this, I would have everything I need to completely calm my spirit. Upon this very valid question of Lamech, the Lord replied, saying, If you look at it humanly, then this of course must be a most confusing knot for you. But if you can look at it from a purely spiritual point of view, then all confusion will immediately lose itself entirely, and you then will see a resolve of things which will be countless times clearer to you than the light of the sun on a clearest, brightest full noon. This, however, is difficult to give you with comprehensible words, since it lies in the deepest depths of all my infinite divine wisdom. So I want to enlighten you about this matter with a parable. The more you're going to look at this parable over time, the deeper you will penetrate into the spirit of truth in this endless, deeply secret matter. And so listen. A very wise and loving good man has conceived the idea in himself to take a wife and to beget children with her who are like him in everything. And each one in its own kind should take possession of the vast treasures and riches that he owns in endless abundance. This would be quite a good plan, but how executable when no female being exists in the whole large region? But what does the very wise man do? He does not contemplate for very long and says to himself, Why do I want to search my endless territories for something that cannot be found? I have in me what I need. I have love. I have all the wisdom and have the power from the two. Therefore, I will see if I can create a wife out of myself, who should fully correspond to me in everything. I already have created other things out of me which fully exists. I thus should succeed with this likewise. And so I want to seize an idea completely similar to me and put it in my firmest will, and it soon will become apparent if I have to continue searching for what does not exist, nor can exist anywhere outside of me. Thought and done, and the magnificent work stands in front of the man. The powerful, most wise master looks at it with endlessly great satisfaction. But the work is just like a dead machine of his will, does not move other than only according to the will of the master, and only speaks what the master thinks into it and requires the work to speak the same. But the master's wisdom considers this and says, "The work is there, but in it there is nothing more but myself. If I leave it like that, it will bear me little fruit. But if I give the work its own, free, independent life, then I have to accept and put up with it if it turns away from me and act according to its own free will. But I am above all powerful. If it trespasses the prescribed limits, I'll know how to handle this, because it is, after all, my work forever." Thus speaks the wisest man to himself, and so he acts. The work is free, and soon moves and speaks differently than the man wants. And that is a great triumph for the master, that his work begins to express very lively, free activity, without, however, ever being able to step outside the will sphere of the master. But this education is still continuing, while the creative procreation is to be regarded incidentally as a main part of such great education. And the man is now, as always, on the point of seeing very clearly the final, most certain completion of his work. See, that is really a great parable, because it contains the beginning and the end entirely in it. Take note of this in yourselves, and it will become brighter and brighter in your depths. But now, let us move on again. Amen.